Hey guys, welcome back to Jen's Lemonade Life. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. I am doing a little bit of a follow-up video from a previous one that I filmed. If you haven't checked it out already, make sure to check that little eye in the sky. Or is it over there? One of these sides. It is my 12 tips on getting cheap flights, affordable airfare, and this is kind of more specific, more in-depth, different things that I didn't address last time that I've learned or just found might be really helpful for people. The first thing I'm going to address is reading terms and conditions. I can't stress this enough. Read the little links that gives you all the terms and conditions, because so many people call in and they don't understand that there are fees associated with changing their ticket, canceling their ticket, that it's not refundable. Lots of things people don't understand, and it breaks my heart, or it gets really frustrating because they're yelling at me because they basically signed a contract that they didn't read. I mean, I understand how many of us actually read all those terms and conditions before we accept them, but it's kind of a smart thing to do when you're actually spending money on something and signing a contract. If you're not willing to read the contract, then assume that you're willing to lose your money. If you do call in over the phone to make your reservation, there may be fees associated with it, but also an important thing to know is reservations agents have certain points they have to hit. They can't spend 20 minutes, half an hour going over every single stipulation on every single thing. So, for example, if you have an overnight stay somewhere, they may not tell you, hey, by the way, you're going to have to pay to check your luggage on your first trip and also on the second day, even though you might consider it a one-way. So it's something to, again, even if you do it over the phone and they give you the basic rundown, you're gonna get an email confirmation, because we're in, what century are we in? We're in the modern day with electronics, and you'll get an email, and I promise you it will have all the terms and conditions, it will have all the links. If you don't agree to it, you can get a refund. Just check right away and know what you're getting yourself into, know what you've signed up for. Next thing I want to address is one-way ticket versus round trip. A lot of people shy away from getting a one-way ticket because they feel like they're losing a value if you do round trip. Now this may vary by airline. It probably does. The airline that I work for, everything is more a la carte. It is priced out as one-ways. And I did touch on this a little bit in my last video. If you're going from city A to B to C, definitely check, is it cheaper if I type in A to C? Or is it cheaper if I do A to B and then B to C? There are some different things that you can find just shopping around. If you see that if you price it out as a one-way both ways and it's the same as round trip, it might sometimes be worth doing as one-ways. And I'll tell you why. If you're getting lowest price, non-refundable ticket where there are fees associated with change, you also have to think about mitigating the risk. Fully refundable tickets are expensive, so it might be worth it to say, you know what, I'm going to have to pay $100, $200 change fee if I have to change this, versus buying, you know, a $500 ticket from the start. It might just be smarter to say, okay, if I have to, then I'll work it out. They're a lovely thing. I've got a video coming out soon on why airlines charge them and my thoughts about them. So make sure to subscribe and be here when that gets released. There are three main things that you need to think of to mitigate change fees. One is, again, reading the terms and conditions. They'll let you know if there's a waiver period. For example, you got a non-refundable ticket, but within the first 24 hours after purchasing, you can still make a change or cancel and refund, kind of that buyer's remorse, and get a full refund. So 24 hours is a secret number for some airlines. Some might also give you a little more leeway, like if you book the ticket a couple months out and you know your ticket's not till July and back in February you realize, you know, I'm not going to be able to make that. So you wouldn't necessarily get a refund on a non-refundable ticket, but you might get a credit without a fee, those sorts of things. So the next thing is buying fully refundable tickets, which is usually not the most affordable way to go. But if you're the kind of person who has plans change a lot, then it is definitely the way to go, because every single time you make a change, if that meeting for work changes 3 times, you're going to pay that change fee 3 times. And in the end, probably would have been cheaper just to buy a full flex ticket. For the average Joe, if you are going to make a change, you're probably just going to have to eat the cost, or again, forfeit your ticket if you got a really screaming deal. However, a really smart thing is travel insurance. Travel insurance, however, oh, I wish people would understand this. Travel insurance does not mean you have a full flex ticket. It does not mean that. It does not mean, you know what, I kind of want to sleep in, so I'm going to take a lighter flight and I don't want it to cost anything. I have a lot of people call in, and even though, again, all those terms and conditions are there, people just read insurance, plans change, hey look, and they assume that they can just change it for free. Again, in my other video, I've gone into why airlines charge change fees and why it's kind of a necessary thing. But that being said, travel insurance has a specific purpose, and this is the way that I explain it to people. Travel insurance, just like car insurance or health insurance, is there for emergencies, for big things. You break your leg and you're in the emergency room. You lost your job of 5 years and can't afford to go on that vacation. Someone in your family dies. Things like that, travel insurance can reimburse you for additional cost to your ticket or a change fee. It doesn't mean that the airline is responsible to waive all fees. You still might have to pay those and then file a claim with whatever paperwork any insurance agency is going to ask for to be able to get that money reimbursed. A lot of people get angry at me because I can't just waive change fees. I don't want to get into it too much. So much is going to be in my other video. So much. Anyway, travel insurance is for specific reasons. Okay? Specific reasons. I could go off on this, but I'm going to try to simplify it. Now, is travel insurance worth it? I've never bought it, but that being said, it really depends. If you just bought a first class ticket to Hawaii and you poured out, you know, $1,000 or several grand because it's a whole family affair, it's probably worth it to pay that $20, $30, even $100 to say, okay, well, what if there's a family emergency? Someone has a stroke and the family can't go, then you have to say, well, it's worth it for travel insurance to be able to cover us. The last ticket that I just purchased was less than $50, so I got it on a really good sale. I was purchasing far in advance, and it asked me if I wanted to purchase travel insurance for $20. And I just thought, I think I can stand to lose $50 if I have to forfeit that ticket and not pay an extra $20. Travel insurance can also help with medical costs, like if you're abroad or with maybe you got mugged, that kind of thing. So you want to look into that. Ask questions if you need to before you make that purchase. But depending on your trip, it's definitely a worthwhile thing to consider. I think the last thing that we are going to cover today, when should you book from a travel agency versus the actual airline? In most instances, I almost always say to book directly with the airline. Travel agencies are good, and I'm talking like Expedia, Travelocity, that sort of thing. Obviously, if you work directly with the travel agency, like you have to book through them because of work or military travel or Medicaid travel or something like that. Like, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Or if you just are kind of more old-fashioned and do a travel agency, like to get package deals, like if you know that that's the sort of thing you want or need, then obviously by all means. But the average Joe who's just looking to buy a ticket, Travelocity and these other websites are great to browse, kind of see your options, see who has the lowest price. But I recommend once you see that price, go directly to the airline and see what they can do. You'll usually find the lowest prices on their website. If you call in, there might be a fee to actually book over the phone, but most reservations agents are also willing to help you kind of do some window shopping if necessary. Prices are probably going to be the exact same, but the service is going to be so much better. You don't have to go through all these extra hoops, and the airlines themselves can make more exceptions than the travel agencies can when it comes to fees and changes. A lot of times, those tickets that are sold through a third party have extra restrictions added. It's complicated. Once you get a third party in there, it is way more complicated. And you might call me saying, hey, I really need to change this flight. I have these extenuating circumstances. And if I'm willing to waive the change fee, and I can, that still might cause you problems if you got a package deal, because if I make a change to it, then your car and hotel rental are no longer secure because they were in a bundle that I can't manage, and it's just messy. It is just messy. However, there are times when I do recommend going with the travel agency. So let's say you live in this little small city and our regional jet is the only one that goes into that city, in or out, and then you want to connect in a bigger city to this international destination. The problem is, I mean, we can only sell you the one ticket, not both. And as I've recommended in my other video, it's best if you can travel all on the same ticket. Usually all on the same airline, but all on the same ticket, just because you're more protected that way. If there's a delay or problem with the first flight, you're protected for the second. So you might be able to get something just doing the online search, finding a travel agency, even if it's an e-travel agency, to be able to get a bundled deal where my airline might not be able to sell that to you. Different airlines play nice in the sandbox differently. We might have partners, and we might have other airlines that are not partners, but we still have ticketing agreements with, and the prices may not be as good when we pair them as when a travel agency pairs them. So if you can't find that ticket all with one airline, then a travel agency really might be your best bet. And also, it can be better than buying two separate tickets. If you say, okay, airline A, I'm going to travel to this city, and then I'll travel with airline B. But the thing is, there's a minimum connection time that's allowed and baggage agreements, and a travel agency takes care of that. They know that when you're connecting from these two in this airport, and if it's international or domestic, you know, will the baggage be transferred? Do you have enough time to get from one terminal to another? So if you're doing it separately, you might not realize that you've cut yourself short, you've caused yourself more hassle, that you might not be able to get on that second plane. So anyway, those are my tricks and tips today. Just some little tidbits on flying, especially if you want to save this. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know if you like these videos. If you have any questions about airline travel that I might be able to answer, that could be a follow-up video that I would be happy to do. I've got lots that have already been posted or I'm going to be posting about traveling with animals, just other affordable stuff and things to make people's lives easier, and also kind of a window inside of the airline's perspective and why things are the way they are. So enjoy me for also my standby adventures that I do every month, and I vlog, and I hope to see you all on my next video. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.